Alright, hello. So this is my new camera. Yeah. So you can see it's better than the old one because the old one made me look like 50 pounds heavier than I really am. So I was just thinking about Anthony Joshua and his latest fiasco when he lost to Alexander Usyk, of course. Yeah, I mean, it seems like each time when he has something to overcome, when he is beaten at his own game, simply put that way, that he fails. And first it was against Andy Ruiz Jr. And what happened there was that he simply got into a true run, like. uh, war, a shootout with a guy who had faster hands, simply, and who could hit, pretty hard. Perhaps not as hard as, well, I don't know. What is interesting, I've been watching, the other night I watched this guy from Croatia who is, who is part with Joshua. He's some minor fighter, not no one big. He's a friend of big good friend of Alan Babic, for instance. But anyway, he is part with Joshua, and he says that he didn't really feel his power that much. And he said that, and there's no bias. He claims he feels that Alan Babic hits harder, that he felt his punches a lot more. You know, uh, a lot more simply. And he also said he has three trainers, no less than three trainers. And that's really weird. I mean, even Holyfield didn't have more than two for a while anyway, or guys like that. Yeah, so that's very unconventional. He has one, and he says they all say pretty much different things, different stuff. So yeah, that's pretty, doesn't make much sense, but that may, you know, perhaps explain why he's not really been himself, ever since that loss to Andy Ruiz. But yeah, he beat Pule, but come on, it's just Pule, a guy who doesn't have a punch, or was already 38 years old or 39, something like that. You know, So even with him, he had some problems anyway. Yeah. So that's just how it is. I mean, then when he fought Usyk, he was simply not just outboxed; he was even outpunched, which was very surprising because everybody expected Usyk to box, and move, but he didn't do that. And why? Well, he must have seen some sort of or heard something maybe that made him so, confident, that it made him fight like he did. Yeah, maybe, I don't know really. So anyway, this was a big eye opener what this guy from Croatia said. Doesn't matter his name. I know his name. He's a like he's a pro boxer, but he's got several losses, I believe already. He I think was better as amateur. But anyway, back to Anthony Joshua. Everything went well for him while he was fighting these guys, who were there to be hit, and when his punching power and physical attributes could, really pull him through, But now that he's facing guys who are a bit more dodgy and tougher, even perhaps, or simply technically better, especially Usyk, of course, and that can take a good punch also. That's now becoming a problem because he has to reinvent himself. I mean, he did that when he fought Ruiz in the rematch, but still, the way he won that fight was not very, manly, let's put it that way. He avoided exchanges completely. So, and against Usyk, he looked very confident, but I mean, before the fight, so yeah, he simply fell apart pretty quickly. He tried to make it fight, but failed simply. So that's the problem. I think is that he hasn't really been trained properly, obviously, and yeah, they've tried to make him lose some muscle, in order to be faster and get his stamina up also, but doesn't really work that way. That's what he was. That was his strength, simply being so big and strong and hard hitting. But it's not that he's very. I mean, he's not like Mike Tyson or Deontay Wilder. I doubt that he can, just do that. Take out guys like he did Charles Martin, for instance. He could never be. I don't think he would ever be able to even take out Wilder. Like Fury did. I think he would have major problems actually taking him out, and might have even been knocked out himself. So I think he should be thanking Tyson Fury. That he did not have to fight Bronze Bomber. So yes, gonna be interesting to see his next move. I don't think he should fight Usyk again because I don't think he can beat Usyk. He can maybe do a little better, but Usyk is a really, really strong, tough guy. It's amazing how tough he is. At cruiserweight, he would take punches with a grin, with a big grin on his face. So it's flying like a psycho, right? But that's how tough he is. He likes being hit almost. So he doesn't need a guy like that. But rather go for those other guys, who are not as tough or as good technically, who can be knocked out or who can be hit much easier. So yeah, that was I think what I had to say about Anthony Joshua. It seems like his career is on the downward path, but he can always recover. But he it seems like he's not being brought up right. He's not being trained right. Simply. And when you are such a big star in your native country, I mean, it's not easy. Everybody's like just vying for you, like standing in line to coach you, to guide you. So you have to be very careful, of course. All right. Thank you to those who will watch this. See you around. Bye bye.